And welcome to science. Okay, I was so excited this week. I had so many awesome plans for a very fiery lesson. I was going to breathe fire, but with the coronavirus, my grocery store had nothing that I needed to breathe fire to put my concoction together. So that will have to wait. Then I was going to do a vinegar baking soda extravaganza, and I was going to try to get you guys to understand when acid and bases get together and they release gases. Guess what? I tried to get those. They had vinegar, but they had no baking soda. So that was out. Then I was going to try to do like the carbon snakes, where you mix sugar with a little bit of what's the second thing? Oh, that the baking soda again. So you're gonna mix baking soda with the sugars, and then you light it on fire, and it like expands out and makes this really cool thing. Can't do that either. Didn't have baking soda. They had sugar though. So I'm now on the third experiment of the week. So I decided, since we did a really cool cooking article for Achieve 3000, there was another way that I could show you that when you put baking soda with an acid, when you get together, then it makes it releases CO2. Since I found another way to do that, and the way to do that is very tasty. It is through pancakes. That's right. Chemistry through pancakes. I'm going to make this happen. I've worked so hard this week to do this experiment. I have searched online, I've searched grocery stores, I have done whatever I could to get myself baking soda or a regular base, and I couldn't do it outside of this way. So I'm excited about it. We're going to be making some pancakes. You're going to be hopefully making some pancakes at your house with your parents. It's going to be great. Yes, I'm going to do this. So I'm going to base this week's experiment in this lab on chemistry for pancakes. So we're going to watch this video together. I'm going to stop it and start it and stop it and start it because I talk too much. But we're essentially going to be learning about how chemistry has so much to do with making a darn fine pancake.
Have you ever noticed how many cultures around the world have invented a food that's some form of flat cooked dough? That many people can't be wrong. Pancakes and all of their international cousins are delicious. But everyone you meet seems to swear by a different pancake recipe. So how do you griddle up the perfect pancake for your lazy Saturday morning breakfast? First, a lot of pancake diehards swear by buttermilk. What could weird, sour, thick milk possibly bring to the table that perfectly innocent, normal milk can't? A lot of things, actually. For one thing, a lot of people do enjoy the sourness of buttermilk. And buttermilk also contains diacetyl, a flavor compound also found in butter that imparts, wait for it,
Now, just because this seems to be like more complicated than it needs to be, just so you're aware, it tastes like butter because butter is made out of milk. In case you didn't know that.
Buttery flavor. But it's not just for flavor. Buttermilk is also important to the mechanics of your pancakes, helping them reach the towering heights required for fluffy pancake nirvana. Harmless bacteria munch on sugars to produce lactic acid.
Now, here is what we were going to do with another activity or experiment, but had a problem with this. So,
buttermilk. And because it's an acid, lactic acid can take part in the classic chemical reaction you've known about ever.
We were going to do that. You see, this right here is going to be an acid. This is going to be a base. And watch what happens.
Since your first elementary school volcano project.
See?
Your pancake recipe also calls for baking soda.
Couldn't find that either.
When lactic acid and baking soda get together, they produce bubbles of carbon dioxide gas. But instead of whooshing out all at once, the carbon dioxide fizz gets trapped in your pancake batter. Those bubbles expand until the batter cooks and solidifies around them. Plenty of bubbles mean your pancakes will be light, fluffy, and tall. Be sure to cook your batter right away, and don't rest it for too long so the bubbles don't have a chance to escape. Without buttermilk, your pancakes won't rise, and you might as well be eating shoe leather. Well, that's not quite true. If you're not a fan of buttermilk, other recipes use baking powder, which contains a powdered acid and base that start to react when heated.
Did you know that there is no baking powder in the grocery store either? No, didn't have any. That's why Miss Shear had to be really, really creative this week.
To achieve optimal pancake floof. Leaveners, people. Don't heat up the griddle without them. Don't have either buttermilk or baking powder on hand? You can add the acid yourself by adding 1 tablespoon of lemon juice per 1 cup of regular milk. That'll react with the baking soda just like lactic acid would. A little extra baking soda will help your pancakes brown too. Browning happens thanks to Maillard reactions, a complex cascade of reactions that lead to chemical deliciousness, taking place in the presence of heat, proteins, and sugar.
Heat, proteins, and sugars.
More about Maillard's delicious chemistry.
Just so you're aware, very important in today's lesson.
In a slightly basic environment. Having just a little baking soda that's not neutralized. Slightly basic environment.
Okay, so up here, she kind of glosses over this. But the reason why we were doing this week is because we were going to talk about the different pHs when it comes to different elements or different molecules. Some things are very acidic. Some things are very basic. Some things are technically fairly neutral. Water is fairly neutral, or it should be fairly neutral. There are certain things that can contaminate regular H2O, but H2O is technically a very basic thing. Very neutral thing. Acidic. We're looking at lemon juice, like she's talking about. We're talking about vinegars. Those are acidic, things that taste sharp when you're eating them. The bases, on the other hand, we talked about baking soda. That's pretty much the standard one that everyone uses when they talk about chemistry. Well, when they talk about food chemistry, when it talks about your bases. So because of that, when you add one side to the other side, a lot of times a reaction will happen, and it's really a cool reaction. And hopefully things will open back up in a little while so I can start getting supplies that I actually need for some of these science things. And anyway, I'll let the lady keep talking.
Having just a little baking soda that's not neutralized by acid helps pancakes develop color and flavor. Not too much though, or they'll brown way too quickly and taste burnt. Pro tip, our expert reviewer Dr. Matt Harding says if you really want to enhance Maillard, fold some melted butter or oil into the batter. Recipes we found suggest a 1/4 cup of butter for every 2 cups of milk. But here at Reactions, we encourage you to experiment with your recipes.
See, that's why I like this lady in this video.
Then there's the maple syrup you drizzle over those warm, fluffy.
That will be activity 2. We have 2 activities this week.
Trees belonging to the genus Acer. And while it's mostly water and sugar, there's also minerals and organic molecules that give it a complex flavor profile. When the sap is heated to condense it into syrup, even more flavor develops, as well as the characteristic brown color. That's thanks to even more Maillard reactions taking place in the sap. Many of the flavor molecules in maple syrup are phenolic compounds, and while some phenolics might have positive or negative effects on flavor, the god of all phenolics is vanillin. Vanillin is in vanilla extract, as well as occurring naturally in maple syrup,
good.
And it's anything but plain vanilla.
It's the same thing as in vanilla ice cream as well.
It seems to add to the richness of the overall flavor, as well as helping to blend the other flavor notes together. Additional phenolics form as the sap is heated, like glycol. Some of those other flavor participants are maple lactone, which shockingly tastes mapley.
Okay.
Acer. And while it's mostly
I'm going to mute her for a second. Now, as she's going through this, you could see from our original activity when we were talking about molecules, she's putting up the actual diagrams of the molecules that we made out of Starburst jelly beans and cute. All right, stop. Okay, as you can see, we have OH. She's put up the actual diagram of the molecule. And she's done these different compounds. As you can see, this looks a lot like what we built in our first experiment. This is crazy. You see how all this stuff in science molds together? Now she's going to go ahead, and here's the next one. All these complex molecules form together to build this compound. And we're talking about flavor profiles again. All right, so I'm going to let her keep going.
Like glycol. Some of those other flavor participants are maple lactone, which shockingly tastes mapley, guaiacol, which adds woody or smoky notes, and caramel furanone, which tastes like maple and burnt sugar and adds richness. Maple syrup even contains a decent amount of riboflavin, aka vitamin B2, but the main ingredient is still sugar.
Yeah, so it's really not that great for you as a general rule.
Keep in mind while you're guzzling, it's not exactly.
So during the experiment this week, a little bit goes a long way.
Beat your pancake batter until it's perfectly smooth and there's no lumps of dry ingredients to be seen. Those poor lumps, what did they ever do to you? The thing is, overmixing your pancake batter will make it tough. There are 2 proteins in wheat flour, glutenin and gliadin, that combine when they meet water to form gluten.
Okay, just to give you an example. Whoa, I thought I paused this. All right, I got to move myself. Give me a second. Okay, now, This is for a lot of people out there. You're going to see these two things, and those are the stuff that combines into making gluten. A lot of people in this day and age have a gluten intolerance. So if you hear somebody that says, oh, I don't do gluten, it's because of this. When you combine these two things together, they create a protein that is difficult for certain people to eat and not get sick. So that's another thing when it comes to chemistry. And the more that the different ways you combine something actually will create a completely other substance, which is insane.
Mesh in your batter. A little of that is good because it helps trap those bubbles you worked so hard to make.
You want a little gluten, but not a lot.
Rise. But a lot of gluten is chewy and it makes your pancakes tough. A little fat slows down gluten development, which is why some melted butter in your recipe is a good idea. And as we noted, that melted butter also enhances tasty Maillard browning. But overmixing the batter still develops gluten, so just mix the batter until it's combined and take your aggression out at the gym or something. Seriously, put the whisk down. This is breakfast, not Tuesday morning boot camp.
Exactly.
We hope these pancake tips help you whip up a better breakfast, or at least that all this gratuitous pancake footage has made you hungry. Personally, I'm starving.
Okay, so that is essentially the experiment we're going to do this week. So we are going to create pancakes, but we're going to be looking specifically at when you combine the base and the acid together. We're looking for the bubbles that come from that. All right, so that is essentially the experiment. So if your parents can get you, baking soda, first off, that's amazing, and tell them, share some love because Miss Cheer can't find it anywhere. So you can go ahead. I just want you to see when you add a base to an acid, what happens. I'm going to show it to you in video form, but the rest of the week, I want you to see that. The second thing I'm going to show you is when you take a liquid and you take away as much of the water as possible, how to create a syrup. So we're going to create a syrup, but we're not going to use the syrup because it's super gross the way that I'm going to do it. So don't eat the one that we're going to create second. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create we're creating a pancake, which I'm going to have for lunch today. And then we're also going to be creating a syrup. So those two aspects of this science lesson. So I hope you guys had a good introduction. I'm excited about it. I'm just about to go up and get ready and set up my cameras in my kitchen. Oh, and another thing about my kitchen this week. I have lost power in 3 of my outlets, and they don't know why. I'm assuming there's a short somewhere. Now, I know a lot of you out there, including my parents, tried to blame me earlier this week that I have done something stupid and crazy in my kitchen, and that's the reason why my power has decided to have a problem. But that is not true. I did not do anything stupid or crazy to my kitchen's electricity. I was making a cup of coffee. That was it. So on that note, you guys have a great one. I'm going to go ahead and set up for the experiments. We're going to be going ahead and having the 2 experiments this week. And good luck, Godspeed. Enjoy science.